This is my Stevens Model 200 in 223. The Stevens 200 is just an economy grade Savage 110 without the AccuTrigger. And in this case, because it's a short action, it will be an economy grade Savage 10. I think the later economy grade, where they quit using the Stevens name and called it a Savage Axis, and then I think there was another name that they had for it at some point too. But it's basically the same action, Savage 110, and I think the Axis and all the later iterations of it were only available in a long action. Even if you got a 308 or a 223, it was still a long action. But the Stevens 200, now I think that the Savage 110 is the upgrade model is still available as a Savage Model 10 short action. But anyway, so this is an economy grade Savage 10, a Stevens 200, and the original trigger, not only was it not an AccuTrigger, which I'm not all that crazy about the AccuTrigger anyway, but it was a standard Savage 110 trigger, but without the adjustments. The old standard 110 trigger had adjustments, so you could adjust creep and everything out. So I finally found, for not too much money, an original older Savage 110 trigger that had the adjustments, and put that in it. And I also made my own trigger spring of thinner material, piano wire, in fact, thinner than the original, to make it a little bit lighter, and adjusted the creep out of it and all that, because the original had quite a bit of creep in it. So it does better now. Anyway, I don't expect great accuracy today, although this rifle is capable of great accuracy, but we're going to see how it does. But I don't expect it to be great, because I'm shooting full metal jacket bullets, just, military bullets, basically. And in my experience, those are not very accurate. 55 grain full metal jacket boat tails, and in my experience, just I like the Hornady soft point, Spire soft point 55 grain basic bullet, and those in my experience are much more accurate. And this rifle is capable of about a half minute of angle with those. So capable of it because I've actually shot those kind of groups with it. So anyway, on to the ammunition we're shooting today. Okay, those of you who've been watching for the past couple of weeks know that I had some suspect 30-06 ammo that I was afraid to shoot for reasons I won't go into here. So I pulled them down and used the same primed cases and the same bullets, but a different powder charge to reload them. And I was left with right around 1,000 grains of a ball powder. And I loaded some of them in 9mm and shot them in my high point pistol. And I loaded some more rounds with a known powder, H110. With the same volume and approximately the same weight, just to make sure that it wasn't a pistol powder. Compared the two, and that told me that it was indeed a rifle powder. So I made a video of that. I did not make a video of subsequent tests I did involving 22 Hornet and now 223. The 22 Hornet let me know for sure, yes, it is a rifle powder, and you know, probably slower than say 2200 or 1680. But just to be on the safe side, I loaded a few rounds with 18.5 grains of this powder and a cast 55 grain bullet, and those fired well. They were accurate and everything. They left a bit of unburned powder in the bore, so I decided to load the remainder of the powder with jacketed bullets, and these are just cheap Full Metal Jacket bullets, and I've got 34 rounds. These over here are a different load. These are with soft points. I don't even remember what the powder charge is there, but it's irrelevant. This is the stuff I loaded with the remainder of that powder, the random unknown powder. So we are going to fire a few rounds and see how it does. I upped it from 18.5 grains to somewhere around 22.5 grains. So assuming this powder is something like H335 or H380, somewhere in that range, which it seems to be, then that's still a fairly light load. But hopefully that 22.5 grains or so will be enough to clean it up a bit. So let's see how it shoots. We're shooting at about 85 yards. See that hole? I didn't see the first one. Alright, let's see if we can zoom in and see what it looks like. Okay, that's not terrible for Full Metal Jacket bullets and a relatively light load of unknown ball powder. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not terrible. Soft points would certainly close that up a little bit, and a more well thought out load probably would as well. But, you know, I'm just doing this to use up the unknown powder. And so I'm not too displeased with it at all. That's workable at 85 yards. Can't complain. So I looked down bore and it did not clean it up. It still got unburned powder. Oh well. You know, I used to shoot 2400 in 44 Magnum. And I still would, but I'm conserving it because I've got WC 820 and H110. And I like 2400 better than those powders as a general rule, but I'm kind of conserving my 2400 because I really like 2400 and the price has gone up substantially. So, like I said, conserving it. I have a pretty good supply of WC 820, so I'm using it up. But anyway, the point being that 2400 always left unburned powder in my 44 Magnums, and it's not a big deal. I do, however, intend to shoot this ammo up pretty quickly. I won't shoot it all up today, I don't guess, but we'll shoot a little more of it. Tell you what, I'm going to shoot the metal plate. The smaller one. The even smaller steel one. Well, the target board went away that time because I hit the smallest of the three iron plates, 4-inch diameter, I think. I hit it and it knocked the target board down. So I guess we're done shooting at the target paster. We'll go for a few more. We'll go for 4 more. That leaves me 20 to shoot later. At this point, I'm just shooting the large steel plate. Transition back to the small one. It's turned at a 45-degree angle, so that makes it more challenging to hit. But I was hitting it, so let's just continue. That one was tight. It's got a shiny spot on the face too. That's why it was so tight, I guess. It had a bit of metal there that interfered with closing it. These were crimped primer cases, and sometimes even if you swage or cut the crimp out, you don't get all of it, so you end up with a sliver of metal. It's, you know, that's one of the things that I like about 222 versus 223. One of the things. There are several things I like about 222, but one of them is that there's no brass 222 brass with crimped primers. And also this military 223 brass, which is the ones that have crimped primers, it can present other problems in reloading too, because the brass tends to be thicker, and in some cases, and pretty much all 222 brass is good brass. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some good 223 brass out there too, but most of what you'll find is 5.56 brass. There's another one that's a little bit tight. I think this is the last shot. I think on that last shot I must have cut the wire, because the two smaller plates are gone. So I guess I cut the wire and they fell down. So I'll just shoot, for this last shot, I'll just shoot the larger plate. It jumps around a pretty good bit. So this is not a powder puff load. It's lighter than maximum. but it's still pretty much full power. Okay, thanks for joining me. Let's go clean this unburned powder out of the bore.